Hey everybody, welcome back to the Math Dungeon. We're working on volume and we're looking at a new shape. So we've done rectangular prisms. Today we're going to be talking about triangular prisms. I'm going to be working out of your iReady instruction book. So if you want to take a little break from working on a screen, you can just listen along and follow along in your book and write in the book. I thought it'd be a nice break for some of you. So if you're on page 220, that's where we're going to start. So if you need to, pause the video and open up to 220. It says, a packing carton in the shape of a triangular prism is shown in the diagram below. What is the volume of this carton? Okay, so I always think of Toblerone bars, which is my husband and daughter's favorite candy, and their boxes come in this shape. So remember, a triangular prism is named for its bases. So the base of this shape is a triangle, right? Same top and bottom. So the triangle bases are parallel to each other. That's how you know they're the base, okay? So a triangle on the top, triangle on the bottom, and then all the other sides are rectangles, all right? So a lot of times when you think about volume, volume is filling a shape. So yes, you could technically fill it like this, but I always think about like filling it with water. I'd want to fill it vertically like this. So you always want to find the area of the base, which in this case is a triangle, and then multiply it by the height. All right, and that's what they've kind of been talking about in the rectangular prism videos. So on page 220, it does say model it. You can use words to describe the prism. The base of the prism is a triangle, which I talked about. The base of the triangle, okay, so this is talking about this specific prism they gave you, is 2 centimeters for the base. So this one is the base. The next part says the height drawn to the base of the triangle is 1.5. So this is the height of the triangle, right? So this is the base of our shape. So this is really important to understand that we're going to be finding the area of that base. And then it says the height of the prism is 7. So if I took this prism and stood it up like this, it would be 7 inches tall, all right? So solve it says you can use the formula V equals capital B times H. That capital B stands for the area of the triangle. Okay, so that capital B is the area of the triangle. So it says you need to find the area of the base. So the base of the triangle they're talking about is 2 inches for the base and 1.5 for the height. So remember, the area formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height, right? So for this particular shape, the base is 2 and the height is 1.5. Now, if I had a calculator, I could go ahead and I could just plug all these numbers in together. But I'm going to use compatibility, right? Compatible numbers. If I take half of 2, what do we get? 1. 1 times 1.5 is nice and easy to compute, right? 1.5 times 1 is 1.5, right? So the area of my base, so I'm going to go ahead and erase kind of all this. The area of my base, that capital B, is just 1.5. All right, so 1.5. Now, what is the height of the prism? Okay, so that's going to be kind of our next step that we're going to be working into. So the bottom left-hand side where it says you need to know the height of the prism, you need to find the area of the base. That area of that base is just 1.5. So this area of this triangle is just 1.5. Now it'd be in 1.5 inches squared if you want to make sure that you have your, I know there's a lot of glare there. I'll see if I can move the screen a little bit or the board. There we go, 1.5 inches squared. Okay, so let's look at the questions on the right before we get into finishing that problem. The first one, number 2, says, look at the model. How do you know which faces are the bases? Okay, so remember when I was talking about this picture, the bases are parallel to each other. So top and bottom, right? They'll never intersect. So this top and bottom shape is a triangle. So you would say the bases are the same size and shape. They're both triangles and they're parallel to each other. Number 3, describe the shape of the other faces. So what are the shape of these faces? These are what? Rectangles. Good. Number 4, which of the dimensions of the other faces do you use to find the volume of the prism? Okay, so far, remember we found the area of the base. To find the volume, we need to use the h, or the height. So we need to find the height of this prism, which is 7. Okay, so the height is 7, which is the length of the rectangle. Number 5, what is the area of the base? We found that 1.5 inches squared by multiplying 2 times 1/2 and then times 1.5. And then, so for that part, you would write 1/2 times 2 times 1.5. Number 6, what's the volume of the carton? So in this case, to finish finding my volume, I need to multiply by my height. My height is 7. So I need to do 1.5 times 7. Now, if you had a calculator, you go ahead and plug it in. If you don't, 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. Now, can I write it as 105? That seems kind of big, right? I got to remember I have one number behind the decimal, so I have to have one number behind the decimal here. 10.5, and then I need to think about what's the label, right? So it can't just be inches squared anymore. I'm multiplying inches times inches times inches. Volume is inches to the third, so that would be 10.5 inches to the third. And then number 7 says, how can you find the volume of any triangular prism? So you would say you want to find the area of the base and then multiply it by the height. All right, so we're going to end with the example that's down on the bottom of page 221. And then today, what you're going to work on is there's a really neat website that has the answers already on it. So you don't have to like do work and then watch another video, or there's no grade per se for today. It's going to be watch this video of us working on triangular prisms and then practice 3 volumes of different triangular prisms on this website. So you'll get there, you'll see a triangular prism, it's multiple choice, find an answer, and then you'll click like show answer and you can check to make sure that you're doing it correctly. All right. So this is like practice before I take a grade for it. So on the bottom it says, apply what you just learned about finding the volume, show your work on a separate sheet of paper. Obviously we're going to just do it right in the booklet. What is the volume of the right triangular prism shown below? All right, so we've got a triangular prism. And so if you're looking at that picture, I'm going to try my best to like replicate it as quickly as possible here in this video. So you've got a triangle. And then the trick is when you're drawing it, to kind of think about what direction a triangle goes, right? So I know I've got another one here. And then when you're trying to show those 3-dimensional lines, right, you kind of dot them. There we go. Oh, I did such a good job. Okay, so 6 is the height. So that height is kind of going perpendicular this way. So this height is 6, and they're using feet this time. So this is kind of like a tenth they're probably putting together here. This 5 feet. So if this is the height of our triangle going this way, what is this going to be called? The base. So every triangular prism, when you're finding the volume of that triangle, you have to know the formula is 1/2 base times height. So you have to find the base and you have to find the height of that triangular prism. And then it says this is 11 feet here. That's the height of our prism. So remember with my little cube that we've got a base of 5, a height of 6, and then if I turn my prism up like this, the height is 11. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is find the area of our triangle. Now I know there's a little bit of glare on the board, so I'm going to rewrite this a little bit lower so you can see it. The area of our triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I know the base of my triangle, I'm going to do 1/2 base of 5, height of 6. So I could use compatibility and say half of 6 is 3 and 3 times 5, or I could do 5 times 6 and then take half of it. It doesn't matter how you do it, you pick. So this is going to give me 30 times 1/2, which is 15, and it's going to be feet squared. So if I'm thinking about my triangular prism, all I've done right now is found the area of the base. So I found this shape right here. So if I turn it up and I'm going to fill it, I now need to take the area of the base and remember multiply it by the height. So in this case, I'm going to take my 15 and I'm going to multiply it by my 11. So for this one, you might not know what 15 times 11 is. You can use a calculator or you can use old-fashioned math skills, right? 5 times 1 is 5, 1 times 1 is 1, placeholder. 5 times 1 is 5, 1 times 1 is 1, and you end up with 165. And then think about what are our units going to be. Is it going to be feet squared still, or feet to the third? Well, think about it. I did base times height, and then times height again. So I've got 3 different multiplications there. It's definitely going to be feet to the third. We're talking about filling something. Those are going to be cubic units. All right. So I know this video was a little longer, 9.5 minutes, but this is the only video for today. So you watched a video on finding the volume of triangular prisms, named for their bases, which are triangles. And then you're going to go try 3 different questions on the website, just numbers 1, 2, and 3, and see if you can try and get those answers. All right, everybody have a great day. Hope you've been enjoying the sunshine.